Oh my gosh, do you think we should call the police? Well, this is Flat Out here, and I hope you're all keeping it flat. This is my official submission to Wolfie6020's Autumnar Equinox Challenge. 2018, I'm using my Flat Earth map. I'm opting to use the Ice Age edition. I found that Ice Age Flat Earth maps are a lot easier to deal with. I do have a sun that rotates directly above the equatorial divisionator. And so oh, by the way, I have made a full articulating equatorial mounted P9 million. Wolfie6020 has requested that all observations be made from Sydney, Australia. It's in the outer rim. I did drill a bunch of holes in the ice, and I did finally find Sydney down in there. And so it's there. And so we're going to go ahead and place our equatorial mounted P9 million right over Sydney. Now I've calculated Sydney to be 660 vanishing points in the perspectively direction of the equatorial divisionator. Using Wolfie6020's calculations, I've calculated that the equatorial mount, this little part right here, needs to be tipped up at 311.8 tippitudes. I can confirm that this does work, as I equatorial mounted myself using Wolfie6020's calculations. I did confirm that the sun did rise in a density direction. It set in a atmospheric lensingist direction, and it did travel in a straight line. So the question is does it work on the flat plane? So one of the difficult things here is figuring out how to polar align this thing. So I did use a little dude who lives in Poland, dug him up out of the ice, tried to use 311.8 tippitudes, and you could not align the scope equatorial to him. I also used a polar bear out on the outer rim, and when I aligned this part here, it would not point at the polar bear. I did find a flagpole on the outer rim. You can see it here. And that, very interestingly, if I use my potentiometer and I put it on the equatorial mount at 311.8 degrees, it does point right to the top of the flagpole. So I'm going to equatorial mount and align to the top of the flagpole, polar alignment. Okay, so you can see here that we've got one single axis of rotation, and this little red thing here, I call this the potentiometer. It's going to show us which direction the mini P9 million is pointing. I have it now pointing from my location in a due atmospheric lensing direction. Sun's over there, and as you can see at sunrise, we got no pointitude. So let's rotate the sun a little bit here, and now we will rotate the axis, our single axis, and we can get it to align from there, but from this direction, as you can see, we have they're not pointing anywhere close at the sun. Rotate it to here, and we're still quite a ways off. The pointitude meter is way out of whack. We move into our high noon position when the sun is directly in the electromagnetism direction, and we're a little off. Now I suppose we could say the sun is up here and we could get it to work in that way, but I don't think it'll work in any other way. So now the sun is moving on towards sunset in the density direction. We can get it to point that way, but that's all out of whack. The pointitude's way wrong. This is embarrassing, really embarrassing. And now we move it to its due density direction at sunset, and we can see that the sun is nowhere remotely close. Pointitude's really pretty much jacked up. So I would say I'd have to conclude that this Gleason map that some of my flat earth brethren have been promoting is a pile of cockatoo. Well, let me plug this thing in so I can show you when it's all motorized and stuff how it works. Yeah, show you how this works. Pretty cool. Joy! Oh my gosh, do you think we should call the police? Holy crap. That's bad. Well, poor map. It's kind of a defeat today. The Gleason flat earth map does not work with a single axis of rotation on the Equinox. Well, keep it flat, y'all.